So the idea today is to go back a little bit and remember where we started. So let's first start with where we're at and solve this by substitution. So you know how to do it already. Just go ahead and do it on your own. It's nothing new. But we have a y equal to -5, so we can substitute it in. And remember, when you substitute, please use parentheses. It will make your life easier, I promise. And here we'll get -5. So substitute means take something out and put something in its place, just like in a game or something. So we're taking out the y, put the -5 in its place, and then we can solve it. All right. So first step will be to multiply these two. You get a +10. And a lot of the steps are similar, but not necessarily the same from problem to problem. So you can't just memorize, well, whatever is here, multiply it, then whatever's here, you subtract it. Sometimes you might have to add, sometimes you might have to combine like terms. It does vary. But since this is +10, we're going to subtract 10 on both sides. That'll give us 0. Bring down the 3x one more time. And 4 minus 10 is -6. And divide by the coefficient. So this is asking 3 times what is -6. And you can support your answer by dividing both sides by 3. And you get -2. Now, this was the shorter version that we did on Monday because we solved for -2, but we were given the other half of the answer already, y equals -5. So we didn't have to do anything to get that other half. And I made a point of reminding you that what does this represent? -2, -5, what does that mean? So that's why we're going to go back a little bit and actually graph it. So this means on a graph, -2, which is 2 left and then down 5, if we graph both of these equations, this is where they'd intersect. Right? And that's the other part of 1a and 2a that you're going to do here. You're going to graph both of these and show they intersect at that point. So you're really doing the same problems we were before, just in a different way. So you might have to remember that y equals -5 is the same thing as y equals 0, x minus 5. So there's no slope there. You might remember we had to put in the slope, which was 0, which means it's horizontal. So we can go down the y-axis to -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's a horizontal line. So that's good news because my first line is going through the answer. Both my lines have to go through this red dot because that's the answer. That's where they intersect. And the second one here, it's not y equals, so we have to do a little bit of work to get it to be y equals. That's the goal. So let's start by, well, we got a +3x, so subtract 3x. And this is what we did before break. Okay. All right, really fast. What's my mistake so far that I just made? It's a common one. Forgot the negative. Yeah, remember this is a -2y. So you have to bring that negative down as well. Otherwise, it'll make everything off by a negative. So divide by -2, not +2, but -2. Because -2 divided by -2 equals 1, so we get 1y. That's good. And now we have negative divided by negative, so that's going to be +3/2 x. And positive divided by negative, which is minus. Start at -2, and we're going to go up to, up 3, right 2. Up 3 and write 2. There we go. And just as planned, it goes through our solution. Now, if these two crossed at any other point besides what we got over here, we'd know either one or both are incorrect. But the fact that it intersects at -2, comma, -5 lets us know that, well, if we get the same answer using both methods, then we know we're correct. So these must match. If these are not the same, something is wrong. You are doing one problem which has one answer, but you're doing it 2 different ways. You can't get a different solution because you are using a different method if it's the same problem. Okay. So we got a little review with the graphing and a little review from this week. Any clarifications needed anywhere here? Where did that come from? How come this? What if that? You know, those kind of questions. All right, so yeah, mostly review here. On part 2 here, going to be a little bit of new. Let's start with the graphing here. Let's start with graphing y equals 3x plus 3. If you need to, you can rewrite this. What's the run on this slope? 3 over what? Yeah, so you have to remember those missing numbers. So like the first one, we had to remember the slope was 0 because there's no x at all, so it's 0x. If there's no run or number underneath, we have to know that's a 1. So that means we're going to go up 3, right 1, starting at positive 3 on the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, right 1, 1, 2, 3, right 1. Now, if you remember this, please try to do this on your own and just check with mine up on the screen, as opposed to just copying it down. Trust yourself, you know how to do it. Do it by yourself, then look up and just verify, as opposed to acting like you don't know how to do this. It's just review. You might find it's faster just to do it on your own, and it's still correct. Off. Try again. Work. Try again. That's a little bit better. Okay. And let's go ahead and do the second one. Just like above, we have to do a little solving. So always start with the x, positive x, so subtract. And when you guys get to your assignment, I want you to refer back to these notes. Before you raise your hand and say, I don't know what to do next, please look at the notes because the steps are pretty much the same from problem to problem. Look at these first. That's why we're doing this. And you probably will find the solution on your own. So we got negative 1 over 2x, and this is going to be minus 4. Let's start at negative 4, down 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is going to be down 1, right 2. It's negative. So let's go down 1, right 2. And we can reverse it, go up 1, left 2, and you can see the intersections right there. There we go. Okay, so what is the solution here? That's x is -2, and the y is -3. So our answer is -2, -3. Always alphabetical order. So x, then y. So when we solve 2b, what's the answer? -2, -3. We're just going to solve it a different way. It's the same exact problem, right? They're identical, but we should get the same exact answer. So something that's a little different. So far, we've had like y equals 3 or y equals 3x. We have not had it equal something with addition subtraction before. The steps are going to be identical just when we're plugging it in, but when we solve, it'll be a little different. So let's start with what we always do, using parentheses for where we substitute. And we'll have to substitute in 3x plus 3. Step 1 will be to distribute. So this is something new. We haven't had parentheses inside our equation before, so that'll be the first step, distribute. So 2 times 3x is 6x, and 2 times 3 is 6. And we're just going to bring down everything else, this x plus part, just bring that down. And then the equals -8, just bring that down. Okay. Step 2 right here is going to be to combine the variables that are on the same side. And we did this yesterday a little bit. So we have 2 variables on the same side, x and 6x. X is the same as 1x, so that would simplify to just 7x. And everything else bring down, plus 6. And from this point on, it's all familiar, nothing new. So 3, you're going to end up subtracting. In this case, it's +6, so subtract 6. What is -8 minus 6? -14. And the fourth step will be to divide both sides by the coefficient. Right. And no surprise, that's the same x we got over here where they intersected. The x is -2. Now, lastly, you need to get y. So don't change anything. Keep doing what we have been doing. Right? We know y equals 3 times x plus 3. And let's do one more substitution. So if we know x equals 2, and here's an x, we can substitute -2 in for x, which will be -6 plus 3, which equals, by no surprise, is -3, right? Same number we got for y when we graphed it, -3. So from there, we know that our answer is x equals -2 and y equals -3. And once again, these must match. So if you get 2 different answers, something is wrong with one or both. It must be the same coordinate. All right. let me pass this out. You guys can get a shot, and we're going to try to shoot to finish it by the end of the period. There's only 4 of these, so we definitely get it done.